The truth about Buzzfeed's dark side is finally coming to light. What really went on behind the scenes at one of the internet's most viral companies? In a recent podcast, Keith and Zach from the Try Guys opened up about their experiences at Buzzfeed, revealing some shocking details that have the internet buzzing. Let's dive into the tea they spilled and uncover the untold stories of their time at this once-beloved platform. Keith and Zach sat down to reminisce about their days at Buzzfeed, a company that once defined viral content. As they shared their experiences, nostalgia filled the air for the era when Buzzfeed was home to some of the internet's favorite creators. But beneath that surface, there were troubling practices that raised eyebrows and sparked conversations among fans. One of the most alarming revelations was the sneaky contract that employees were coerced into signing.
There was one specifically where we was like, okay, fire me then.
Did you say that?
We were basically like, first of all, they were trying to have one-on-one conversations with us, and unfortunately, I was the person who was called in first for that. There was a standoff happening because they had done this stupid contract that I was refusing to sign, that they had tricked, I feel like, tricked the entire company into signing because they put it into office moving paperwork. Like, we were moving offices, and it's like, oh, you got to sign a new thing for the parking.
Gosh.
You got to sign a new thing. You have to sign a new thing. Oh, and also we have a new image release waiver because we're in a new place. And
the image release waiver, I want to say for the record, none of the people involved in this story work there anymore. But the image release waiver was broad reaching. It basically was like, we own your likeness in any way we want to do it.
It specifically said
forever.
we would own your life story.
Yes.
And that was my issue with it. And luckily for me, because I probably also would have blindly signed it, but they ran out of the image release waiver because I was working too late that day because we were always working very hard. So like I was working late and they didn't have any more. And then, so I didn't sign anything. And then I showed up, and then a week into being at the new office, they realized I hadn't signed the new image release waiver. So some poor intern gets sent to me and they say, hey, can you sign this? And I was like, well, I got to read it. And they're like, well, you need to sign it. I was like, this is an unfortunate, very unfortunate. This intern.
An intern delivered this paperwork.
And I read it and I'm like, I'm not going to sign this.
Luckily, due to timing, Keith didn't sign it, but many others did, unknowingly giving away their rights. When the Try Guys sought legal advice regarding the waiver, things took a turn. They received a chilling warning from a higher-up: a storm is coming.
We had a meeting with somebody. I'm not going to say their position, but they brought us into a room, and they were like, hey guys, so I heard that you are getting a lawyer to look over this. I'm like, yeah, and that's what we were told to do. He's like, cool, I think that's a good idea. And then he goes, looks kind of left, right, and he goes, off the record, if you do this, a storm is coming. He literally said, a storm is coming.
And we were like,
insane. We were like, what
do you mean by that? And he's like, can't say anything more. I'm like,
Storms
so
brewing.
we were sort of like penalized for about 6 to 8 months, I think, before they fully got over it.
we were in this kind of really like not good relationship with them.
This ominous message hinted at the backlash they would face for standing up for their rights. The tension escalated, leaving them in a precarious position for months as they navigated the fallout. Buzzfeed's cutthroat culture became evident as they discussed how employees were fired for pursuing side projects.
Other things like there were a couple people who got laid off because they were like in the background of a music video and they should not have been fired for this.
Yeah, there were people who did a web series on a weekend and were let go for that.
And then there was somebody
like, what the fuck,
so
man?
that happened, and then they sent an email like, hey guys, if anyone else is working on anything else, why don't you come and tell us you're doing that? You're not going to get penalized for this, but we want to know because you shouldn't be working on other stuff outside your contract. But they literally said, you will not get in trouble. Just please, if you report to us honestly, we will not get you in trouble. Somebody reported honestly that they were doing freelance research for another company. They were fired.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, very cutthroat, scary times. And that was what was sort of, I think, was the reason that other people started making wireless BuzzFeed is one, they wanted to get
that's why we're telling the story.
the juicy tea, but also that they were mad.
They were pissed.
This inconsistency created an atmosphere of fear, stifling creativity and ambition. Keith even shared a personal story about turning down a lucrative opportunity to star in an airline commercial because BuzzFeed wouldn't allow it. I had to say no, he explained, highlighting how the company's restrictive policies stifled not just individual careers, but also potential collaborations that could have benefited everyone involved. During a period when they were unable to create content for BuzzFeed, Keith had a brilliant idea for a video featuring drunk girls being surprised with puppies.
There was about 2 to 3 weeks where we did not sign the talent release before we got them to agree to some changes, whatever. And during that 2 or 3 weeks, it's like, okay, well, I can't do my job.
Right.
So what am I going to do?
What did you do?
And so during that 2 to 3 weeks, Keith and I came up with, I think he pitched to me, drunk girls get surprised with puppies.
Yeah.
I made that video.
But I said, I won't make it because I'm not making anything for the company right now. Because I was like,
you're like,
they're mad at me, like, fire me.
Yeah.
I'm making nothing. I'm going to show up at 9 a.m. I'm going to sit at my desk, and I'm going to leave at 5 or 6.
oh my gosh.
I
And
made
you did that for a few weeks.
Yeah, for about 2-3 weeks. I made this one video because I was like, I'm bored. I want to do something.
Yeah.
And that turned into a fucking smash hit. And now fast forward.
And you're like,
That is the Celebrities Play with Puppies interview format that BuzzFeed
What?
makes. Yes.
So that was like, that directly led to the celeb team being like, oh, we would like to do that. Can we? I'm like, go nuts. And so that is now their like one
their
of their
flagship thing.
He admitted. This concept turned into a massive hit, leading to the now famous format that has become a staple for BuzzFeed. It's fascinating to think that this iconic content emerged from a place of frustration and restriction. Interestingly, Keith and Zach revealed that management was not thrilled about the success of the Try Guys. The fact that 3 people collaborated on one project rather than spreading their efforts across multiple videos seemed to irk the higher-ups. This tension reflected a deeper issue. BuzzFeed struggled to adapt to the changing landscape of digital content creation. Despite the rocky history, Keith and Zach acknowledged that BuzzFeed has made some changes over the years. They recently visited the Buzzfeed offices and expressed their hope for the company's success.
I mean, I want them to succeed because we are so like interwoven in that story. So like, it's only good if they
Right.
have more success. I think ultimately for us. Like,
They
Right.
also, I think, have learned, seemingly, I'm not there, but from what I'm hearing, they've learned a lot.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of trial by fire of what to do and what not to do.
As we reflect on the challenges faced by the Try Guys and other former BuzzFeed employees, it's clear that there are valuable lessons to be learned. What does this mean for the future of online content creation? Will companies like BuzzFeed evolve to nurture talent instead of stifling it? One thing is certain, the landscape of digital media is constantly changing, and it's up to creators and companies alike to adapt or risk being left behind. Let me know what you think about these revelations. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on the BuzzFeed tea that Keith and Zach spilled. Until next time, take care.